You ever have a moment that splits your life into the before and the after? I'll tell you, the day Jessica Reed slapped me across the face in front of half the school, I went from invisible to unforgettable in a heartbeat. It's funny, right? How it takes one crack of someone's hand, one roar of laughter from a crowd you thought barely noticed you, to wake something up inside. Yeah, that happened. And I'm here to tell you how it changed everything, not just for me, but for everyone in Willow Creek. See, in this town, pickup trucks outnumber people, football is religion, and high school might as well be the center of the universe. I'd spent 3.5 years floating along the edge as Emily Harper, mousy hair, secondhand sweaters, always scribbling in some battered notebook, never making waves. The type of girl who gets overlooked in yearbook photos, you know? My mom called it flying under the radar. I called it surviving. Because in Willow Creek High, you keep your head down, especially when girls like Jessica are on the prowl. Jessica was the queen blonde, flawless, mean as a snake with a smile sweet enough to sell poison. Her boyfriend Jake was the quarterback, all dimples and easy charm unless you were the butt of his jokes. Their little crew Mia, who could eviscerate you with a glare, and Tyler, built like a linebacker and about as gentle as a stampede ruled the halls. They picked me out as their favorite punching bag sometime around sophomore year. At first, it was just whispers, snickers as I walked by. But by senior year, they'd graduated to full-on humiliation-spilled books, accidental trips, notes stuffed in my locker with words that still echo sometimes when the lights go out. I was counting down the days to graduation, just 9 months left, I kept telling myself. But on a chilly October afternoon, as orange leaves skittered across the parking lot, everything snapped. School let out in a chaos of laughter and shouts. I was booking it for the bus when Jessica's voice sliced through the noise, "Hey, freak show." And like an idiot, I froze. There they were, strutting across the lawn, a whole crowd trailing after like hungry wolves. Jessica's perfume hit me before she did. She snatched my notebook me lifeline, my secret world, and started flipping through, reading my poems out loud in this mocking sing-song voice that made even my dreams sound pitiful. Phones went up, people started recording. I begged quietly at first, then louder when Mia joined in, tossing my notebook back and forth like it was nothing. And then Jessica slapped me. Hard. Right there, under the October sun, in front of everyone. The sound cracked through the air, the crowd cheered, and I stumbled, glasses askew, cheeks blazing. Someone shoved me, and I hit the gravel, knees scraping raw, the taste of blood and humiliation mixing in my mouth. That was it. My execution broadcast across every phone in town by sundown. I didn't go home that night calm face my mom, Karen, who'd just say, "Ignore them, baby, it'll pass." I went to the library instead, found a corner, tried to breathe, pulled out my notebook rescued from the trash, pages mangled but still mine. There was a poem inside, one about a girl who rises from ashes. For the first time, I believed I could be her. Or at least I wanted to try. The next morning, school was a war zone. That video was everywhere: Snapchat, TikTok, group chats. I felt eyes burning into my back all day. Jessica and her gang strutted, proud as peacocks, but something had shifted. I was done being prey. Over lunch, I stopped writing poems and started making plans. Years of being invisible made me a world-class observer. I knew when Mia's grades were slipping, Jake's obsession with his football scholarship, Tyler's fights with his girlfriend, and the truth behind Jessica's perfect smile. Her parents were splitting up, and she was barely holding it together. I started with Mia, leaving an anonymous note in her locker, offering chemistry tutoring in exchange for a favor. We met in the library, and as I helped her with atomic bonds, I planted a little poison. You know, Jessica says you're only in the squad because she feels sorry for you. That's all it took. Mia was suspicious but didn't say a word. I nudged Jake too, with an anonymous email suggesting a teammate was sabotaging him to scouts. Tyler's temper? Easy to stoke with a few rumors. As for Jessica, I bided my time, collected proof of her nastiest moments, snippets of her voice bragging about cheating on Jake with Tyler, all while hiding behind my own shadow. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta wait for the perfect moment. Homecoming came. Stadium lights, the smell of popcorn and damp grass. Half the town packed in the stands. While everyone watched the game, I slipped into the AV room, thank you, library coding books, and loaded my little revenge film. At halftime, the screen flickered to life. Instead of football highlights, it was Jessica caught on school cameras bullying, mocking, stealing. And then her own voice, crystal clear, admitting to cheating with Tyler. You could hear the gas from the bleachers. Jake stormed off. Mia left the squad in tears. Tyler's girlfriend lost it in the stands. Jessica stood frozen, her reign suddenly over. But I wasn't done. The next day, I left documents on the principal's desk, proof Jessica had been cheating on exams for months. She was suspended, her college dreams trashed. Jake, caught in a rage fit after the game, lost his scholarship too. Mia and Tyler both turned on Jessica, desperate to save their own skins. The whole empire collapsed. I watched it happen from the sidelines, silent and satisfied. For once, the whispers weren't about me. Then came the twist I didn't see coming. I confided in MS. Carter, our school counselor, told her about the bullying, but not about my plans. She'd been kind, offered tissues and tea, promised it would stay between us. But under pressure from the school board and Jessica's powerful parents, she gave up my notebook, filled with my coded notes. The principal called me in. Jessica's parents already there, lawyers at the ready, threatening legal action for cyberbullying. I was staring down suspension, maybe worse. I could have denied everything. But you know what? I was tired of being quiet. I told my story from the beginning, the years of torment, the slap, the fallout. I didn't do anything they didn't deserve, I said, and for the first time, I felt steady. The principal listened. Maybe he saw the truth. Maybe he just saw a kid fighting back against a rigged system. He promised to look at both sides. Leaving that office, I realized something. Betrayal hurts, but it teaches you who you are. You can't count on anyone to save you, not friends, not teachers, not even your own courage sometimes. But I found my voice. I wasn't the girl on the ground anymore. Then, out of nowhere, came a second twist. MS. Carter, maybe out of guilt, maybe because something in my notebook moved her, sent my poems off to a national contest. Weeks later, a letter arrived. I'd won a full ride to an art school in New York. Yeah, meth nobody from Willow Creek. For once, people saw me as something other than a victim. At the spring talent show, I stood on stage, reading a poem about turning pain into power. I didn't name names, didn't have to, everyone knew. The applause was thunderous, and for the first time, I saw Jessica in the back, crying. Maybe she finally understood. I wasn't just getting even. I was moving on. And as I packed for New York, stuffing my now full notebook into a suitcase, I knew I'd rewritten my story. So, tell me, how do you think? Did I go too far, or was it justice? Would you have done the same? Drop your take below, right, wrong, or somewhere in between. And hey, if you're from a small town like Willow Creek, or if you've ever had to stand up when nobody else would, let me know where you're watching from. Hit subscribe for more stories like this, and let's keep this conversation going. Because in the end, maybe the only way we really change the world is by rewriting our own.
Xin chào các bạn, mình là Trinh, mình phụ trách viết content. Trên đây là những công việc của mình là mình
Vamos supor, você falou negócio sério. It is cold, yeah. Next one? Alright. Thank you, man. Hey, if you guys have any trouble, let somebody know. Please.
After the tree to hold on to. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the fence.